This is what we did in Project Motherboards, RAM, and CPUs. We took apart a computer. We talked about all the screws that go into a computer. We built the computer again, and we talked about all the components that we would put into a computer that would be used for gaming and one that would be used for a small office. We talked about capacitor plagues and why you should use an Android tablet instead of a PC. And this is my project report, and these are all the screws that would go into a computer: a self-tapping screw for case fans, a 632 screw, and an M3 screw. For my gaming computer, I would put in a Gigabyte GA-Z68 AP-D3 Intel Z68 motherboard because it has a good price considering all of its features, and the added software is a huge bonus. For the CPU, I would use an Intel Core i7-2600K BX80X23 i7-2600K unlocked processor because it runs without problems at 4.5 gigahertz and it can be overclocked without problems. For my RAM, I would use a Patriot G2 series 8 gigabyte DDR3 1600 megahertz because it doesn't cost much money and there really aren't any problems with the heat. For the video card, I would use a GeForce GTX 570 video card with 1280 MB GDDR5 PCI Express 2.0 dual DVI and a mini HDMI because it stays cool and it runs quiet. For the hard drive, I would use a 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard drive because it has a fast transfer rate and it loads your operating system quickly. For the disk drive, I would use a Sony OptiArc 24X DVD RW drive because it's a great CD and DVD burner and it's cheap and effective. For the case, I would use a Cooler Master HAF X Full Tower because it has very good cable management and is very sturdy. And for the power supply, I would use the Corsair CMP-SU 750 TX-V2 Enthusiast Series TX75 OV2 because it has a lot of connectors and it runs very quiet, and the total cost for this computer would have been $1,092.92. And for the small office computer, for the motherboard, I would have the ASRock Z68 Extreme 3 Generation 3 LGA 1155 Intel Z68 HDMI SATA 6 gigabytes per second USB 3.0 ATX Intel motherboard because it has plenty of USB headers and it is very fast and easy to use. For the CPU, I would use the AMD A6 3650 Llano 2.6 gigahertz socket F1 100 watt quad core desktop APU because it runs cool even with the stock cooler and it works great for a cheap price. For the RAM, I would use the Crucial 6-bit 6 gigabyte 240 pin DDR3 SD RAM DDR3 1066 triple channel kit because it has quick installation and they are cheap and they run cool. For the video card, I would use the EVGA 012P3 1571KR GeForce GTX 570 HD with DisplayPort because it has high frame rates and it has HDMI built-in audio, so there's no need for an audio cable. For the hard drive, I would use the Western Digital Caviar Blue WD5000 AAKS 500 gigabyte 7200 RPM 16 megabyte cache SATA 3 gigabytes per second because it works fast and quiet and has a long lifespan. For the disk drive, I would use the Sony OptiArc 24 times DVD RW drive because it has a great CD and DVD burner and it is cheap and effective. For the case, I would use a Fractal Design Define XL Black Pearl with USB 3.0 ATX full tower silent PC computer case because it has a great build quality and there's plenty of room. And for the power supply, I would use an OCZ Mod Extreme Pro 700W modular high performance power supply because it has very good heat control and a big fan. And the total price for that computer would be $921.92. And capacitor plague is the result of corporate espionage, and it is when the top of a capacitor splits open and dried electrolyte residue leaks out of it. And it was thought that a researcher who was moving from Taiwan to Japan stole the secret chemical recipe for a new low-resistance, inexpensive water-based electrolyte formula, and it was later found out that the recipe was copied incompletely, and it resulted in millions of faulty capacitors that were produced from 1999 to 2007. And an uninterruptible power supply is an electrical apparatus that provides emergency power to a load when the input power source fails. And they usually last only a few minutes, but they last long enough to properly shut down the computer that they're hooked up to. A surge protector is an appliance that is designed to protect computers during a power surge. Many power strips have basic surge protectors built in, and they're usually labeled. A computer vacuum is used to clean out the inside of a computer. And items needed to properly clean a computer is a can of compressed air, antibacterial moist towelettes, glass cleaner, soft cloth or paper towel, lint-free wipes, a dust mask, and round IDE cables. And the standard PC hardware troubleshooting steps are boot into safe mode command prompt, log in as local admin, go to users and rename the folder to .bak, go to program files, common files, and name anything weird to .bak using the move command. Go to users, all users startup, and find anything in startup and delete it. Reboot the computer into safe mode, log in as the local admin, and click yes on safe mode. Go to start, regedit, and then HKey local machine, software, Microsoft, Windows, current version, run it and delete all of the weird stuff. Run Malwarebytes, full scan, and delete the virus. And this should take about 2 hours. And scan Malwarebytes. Go into Start, then Services, Miscellaneous, and find any services with no description and disable them. Reboot the computer regularly and go to My Computer and copy the contents of those folders to the new ones. Documenting your work is like making a bibliography, meaning that you are giving the sources where you got all your information from. And preventative maintenance is checking your system every once in a while for viruses and taking precaution when doing things on the computer so that you can avoid getting viruses on your computer. This is how to flash upgrade a BIOS. This is all the computer fire safety. The best tools for PC repair are Dial-A-Fix, LSP Fix, Auto Runs Detector. And this is how to prevent ESD. You discharge the static by touching anything that's metal. Don't work on carpet and stand on a rubber mat if it's possible. Remove unnecessary clothing like jackets or hats. And this is how to prevent EMI, which is electromagnetic interference. Keep your computer away from a motor or generator. Use an EMI cable. Use EMI cable filters on computers, and keep equipment away from electrical rooms. And Android tablets should be used in an office instead of PCs because they are smaller. It's almost impossible to get an infection or a virus on them, and they are much cheaper. And unlike a PC where they usually are very big and heavy, Android tablets are very small and weigh only a couple of pounds, and it's almost impossible to get infected on a tablet because there are very few malicious apps on the tablet market, and the ones that are usually taken off. And Android tablets are usually under $500, while PCs are usually over $500.